You remember the two-story house that Miss Aldell used to have here? It was a two-story house.
Oh.
You remember Miss Aldell, his mother?
Yeah.
Aldell and Calmer.
Yeah, but it wasn't a two-story one, huh?
Well, it was a story and a half. It basically had
Oh, okay.
like a
Okay.
loft in the top.
And you're their son?
Yeah, I'm Dennis.
Okay, Dennis. No, there's another son. What was his name?
Well, there was four of us all together. There was Danny, the oldest one, that had red hair. Douglas, the second to the oldest one, he had red hair. Then there was Dennis, which is me, and then David. And we all had all our names begin with D's, and we was all about 4 years apart.
Yeah, I used to move with John.
You did.
While they lived in Chicago.
You did.
He paid me and
Kelmer did? Wow. Because that house originally that was over here was over there. Yeah, they took a tractor and a team of horses and moved it from up there to over here. Now the old house down here that Sonny Thompson used to live in, Homer Thompson, that was the house that my, go ahead and cut it off. That was the house that
now,
Bobby's oldest sister, our only sister, had Jerry Wayne Madison in that house.
okay. Then,
That was whenever the Sadonian school was going.
yeah, and this other house back up here was the Seymour. Lois Seymour used to live there.
Yes, it was.
And what was his name? Robert?
Robert Seymour?
Robert Seymour. Had a son named Charles.
Yep.
We used to play together. He'd come down, we'd make mud pies.
I'll be dog.
Yeah.
I'll be dog.
Oh, man. I tell you, it's been a long time since I've been through here.
So you remember Jinx Wallace?
Oh, gosh, yeah. He's part of the family.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
Now, you was a Dorch, right?
I was a Dorch.
You originally was a Dorch.
Uh-huh.
Now, there were some Dorches up toward Sharon, wasn't there?
Right.
What was their names?
John Dorch, Daddy's
Yep.
brother.
Yep.
Both of them are dead.
Oh, me.
Bonnie
Yeah, Bonnie.
and Junior.
Yep.
And their daughter, Shirley,
Right?
and her husband, Jerry. They're
Okay.
all four dead.
Oh, my goodness.
And
And you managed to outlive them all.
Shirley, she had cancer, and she went before Jerry, and he told her, he says, I'm not gonna live much longer. I'll be there with you. And he didn't. He quit eating. So it went, but I
Did
don't
you
even
know Mr. Heron Woodruff?
I sure did. He drove my school bus.
Mr. Woodruff over here that had a son by the name of David. David's still living. He basically left the same way.
Aaron.
Whenever his health got bad,
Yeah.
he basically just quit eating. And Dad took that so hard because him and Heron was best buddies. And Dad just couldn't believe. He said, Heron, why in the world would you want to starve yourself like this and allow for your health to continue to go bad? And Heron would tell him, said, Bobby, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home and live with my Lord. This is not my home down here,
Anymore.
and God's going to give me a new body once I deteriorate and leave this land,
Yep.
and I'm going to go home and live with Christ. And he was dead set to that, to the point that I think he lived after he went on his fast something like 35 days. But it don't take but about 30, 40 days.
That's about the way Jerry done when Shirley died.
Really?
It wasn't long after she died. But see, okay. Of course, my parents have been dead a long time. I've just come from the cemetery putting flowers.
Because of Mother's Day coming up.
Well, yeah, Mother's Day coming up, and Decoration Day is in sometime in May, last of May or something like that, where they, people put out flowers.
Yeah, well, they start prepping them.
Yeah. So, of course, they've been dead a long time. And I had married a Shelley. And I guess we lived together maybe 10 years, and we divorced, and I moved back. The Earl Enos place.
Yeah.
My dad and them bought that. We lived there for a long time, and Mom and them remodeled it inside, out.
Ed White bought it after y'all.
No.
Yeah, Ed White had a bunch of cows over there. He was milking cows. You talking about Ed Ennis right over here
No, wait a
in
minute.
behind the home place over here?
No, wait a minute. I think you're getting maybe.
Ed Ennis was married to Gladys. Gladys, Aldell, Pauline was all sisters. Pauline lived up in Chicago for years and years and years. She never did come down here and live, other than when she was a young girl.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let me think here. I'm telling you, I'm 73 and my brain, it don't work quite like it used to.
Mine don't either.
Don't
Don't feel like the Long Ranger.
I can't even, when I start to talk to them about somebody, I can't even think of their name.
You lose concentration.
You do.
Yeah, but Ed Ennis lived right in behind us.
Earl Ennis.
No, this wasn't Earl Ennis. This was Ed Ennis.
No, this was Earl that I'm talking about, where my parents bought. Where you turn and go down to Beech Ridge.
Okay, I know exactly where you remember the Dewdauber bunch down there?
Yeah, and I hate to say I'm kin to them.
Are you?
Just a little.
What was Dewdauber's last name? Was it Reynolds?
No.
You probably knew Harry and Herman Reynolds, didn't you? That owned the
Yeah.
service station up there.
Yeah.
You probably knew Tonkin Elliott.
Oh yeah, he was
Did
Bonnie,
you?
he was Bonnie Dortch's brother.
Yeah. Did you go to school at Sadoniaons
I
School?
did
From what year to what year?
to the 8th.
See, they closed that thing down about the year that we moved down here. We moved down here in 1967.
67.
I'm thinking that they shut it down in 66.
I don't know.
But you lived in this next house on the
I
left-hand
lived-
side, the one on
I-
top of the hill? The one that Jinx Wallace used to live in?
No, wait a minute. No, I used to live right over there.
Over here in this corner?
Right there in that corner.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, you lived there then before Almus and Oler lived there.
Mm-hmm. No, it's after them, wasn't it?
No, it's before.
Okay, yeah. Because they moved in after we left.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you was the one that built that house?
No, we didn't build that house. I was young back then.
I got you.
10,
I got you.
9,
Who built that house?
I don't know.
Or was that something else that they
It was
drug
already-
up from down here at Beech Ridge? See, there used to be a bunch of families that lived down there in Beech Ridge.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
Probably 30 or 40 families.
Yeah, I know it. No, we lived in their okay.
Did y'all have an old storm house? Because the old
Yep,
storm
yep,
house
yep,
is still there.
That's what I'm trying to think
The
of.
old block storm house is still
Yes,
there.
sir.
I couldn't tell you the amount of times whenever I was a kid growing up, the storm would get so bad around here.
I know people would come and
People.
park out here on this hill.
They
and
sure
get
would.
A piece of full in there, they couldn't nobody come in.
Couldn't get nobody in there hardly.
But that's where I grew up.
Right
till
there.
I got in my teens.
I'll be darned.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was coming by. I was going to see my cousin, Mary Hill.
Mary Hill.
Yep. I was going to go see them. I hadn't seen them in a long time. And I was coming. I said, I'm going to drive through here and see if my house is still standing. And I'll see it's gone.
Paul Hill.
Yeah, I know him.
You know him?
Mm-hmm.
He had a son by the name of Roger Hill
Yeah, and WT.
and WT. I'm recording this. I got my telephone recording right now. I am. I'm recording because this is history. I had another guy stop up here about a year, give or take about a year ago. And he wound up going to college and made a big boom in the agriculture community and moved off way up into Kentucky somewhere. And now I think he's living back down towards Trenton somewhere, way down there. I don't forget now where it is. But he stopped up here and me and him had a heart-to-heart conversation. I don't forgot his name. He said that his parents originally owned a house outside of Sharon, that real nice house outside of Sharon.
Yeah.
A real nice brick house. I think he was a Reynolds, if I'm not mistaken. Not a Reynolds, he was something else. But he said that his parents are the ones that own that real nice house that's got all that antique stuff on it right there.
Yeah.
He said that was years ago, and he said at the time, whenever they built that house, that was considered one of the nicer houses.
Okay.
Do you by chance remember Dennis Harrison?
I sure do. Dora,
You remember both of them? How long did they live over here?
a long time.
They did.
Till they died, I think. Or, yeah.
All right. There was another one lived over here on the hill. I forgot his name, but that house at one time used to be in a magazine. McDermott. Did you know him?
I knew both of them.
You did?
We went to church with them.
Man, didn't they keep their barn and their house spotless?
I'm telling you, if she could see that place, she would turn over in her grave.
Oh, you should have seen it a year or so ago.
Oh, I have. I've seen it, and it looks horrible now.
It looks horrible now, but what it looked like about 2 years ago with all them cars and stuff around there, it sure enough looked horrible then. It looked like TC Sweat's junkyard down there Hop-In, or Bill Warren's. Bill Warren had a daggum. You may not even know the Warrens.
I do a little.
There was Johnny Mac, Bill.
I knew the girls better.
Did you?
Betty and Mary.
Okay.
I knew them. Went to school with them.
Okay. I'll be darned. So you need CT Hill?
Yep. I knew him.
I'll be darned. You probably knew
I was raised in Tennessee.
David Nelson's dad. What was his name?
Wayne.
Did you know him good?
I did.
Lord.
I knew him and his wife. And David, he used to coach my son in baseball.
Well, David, he made a good living for himself up there at Goodyear.
Yeah.
And now he's occupying the Alamo Baptist Church down here.
What's he doing?
He's just ahead of the administration.
Oh, okay.
Part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Making sure that the cemetery's cut and everything.
Okay.
Making sure different stuff's done.
Yeah.
But Melvin Hill.
Yep.
Was the one that married Jinx Wallace's sister.
No, wait a minute now.
Jinky?
No, wasn't his sister. That's her uncle.
Is that her uncle?
Yeah. Her brother was James Wallace.
Well, according to her, yeah, Wallace. According to her, she was raised up right down there in the corner.
Yeah, I know it.
And you and her probably, no, she's probably a little older than you.
She's older than me.
Yeah, she's probably a little older than you.
Oh, yeah, she is. She's in her 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm 73.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, there used to be a bunch of them right down here on the right-hand corner down there. That was also Wallace's too, wasn't it? There was an old house down there. Because we drug that old house from down there at the corner up here on top of the hill, and Dad used it for a daggum garage for, I know, 15, 20 years, making side money out of it.
I can remember somebody, it was on the corner.
On the corner.
Right down here on the corner, somebody living there, but honestly, I cannot remember right now.
It was a Wallace.
Might have been. I can't remember.
How about J.M. Baker?
I know them.
Was J.M. Baker's house here? That two-story house? Now his is a two-story house.
Yes. Now that used to be
Miles?
Elliott. Tunkin Elliott's daddy.
Tunkin Elliott's daddy.
Daddy and Mama. They lived there.
I'll be dog.
And then after they left, then he got it.
J.M. got it.
Yep. I was born and raised in Tennessee and lived down here for I don't know how long.
Where was you born at?
Martin.
At the old hospital? Really? Over next to the railroad tracks? Wow.
Yep.
Where are you living at now?
Okay, I was fixing to tell you. I divorced and
Look like you're doing well for yourself. You're driving a brand new automobile.
well, no, it's a 13.
Is it? Well, I mean, it's good looking.
It's I moved back to Sadoniaons. My mom and her sister had an aunt that had a house living on the Sharon and Sadonian Road, and she had died. So they moved the house down there beside where Mom and them was living. There, that house that you turn and go down to Beech Ridge.
Okay.
So we moved that house down there, and I added a garage to it and a back porch thing, and redone some inside. And I lived, let's see, we divorced in 80. And I said, I was.
There used to be a Jackson that lived down there at the Beech Ridge.
Okay, that's before my time. I don't remember any of them people.
Well, he's about your age.
Well,
He said he lived down there until he was about 10 or 12, and then they moved to town.
Who'd you say?
It was a Jackson.
Leon? Leon Jackson?
You know Leon? That's my uncle.
Yeah, I know.
That had Maxie?
Yeah.
You remember Crazy Maxie? Do you know Maxie's still living?
Just a little. I didn't know him that much.
Maxie's still living.
Really?
Yeah, you know what messed him up?
No.
He got married to a woman that had 2 kids. And he'd done already had 2 kids by his first wife. And I forgot her name. They lived right up here around the corner over here. And it wasn't nothing for Maxie to pull out a gun, go shooting at his wife, target practicing towards trying to shoot her in the head. It was crazy back then. They was drinking and carrying on, just like down here at the old Lim store where Leon used to live. He turned over a lawnmower one night out there mowing, drinking, drunk, and almost killed himself. I don't know if you knew anything about that or not. But Maxie left to go to work at Goodyear. He had a real good job at Goodyear, and a hotel caught fire where they were staying at over in Union City, and killed 2 of the boys.
Oh no.
And the other one, Jeff, the youngest one, this was happening in 1883. He was so bad that they took him to the burnt victim sent him down there in Houston. He had to stay down there for almost 2 years. Because he lost his wife and all them kids, and it burnt that other one, Maxie flipped.
Oh, he could take.
He flipped. And I can just imagine if something like that would have happened to me, I would have probably went off the deep end too.
Some people just can't take things like that.
Well,
but anyway, I remarried.
He's still living. Did you?
And I remarried.
Okay.
But he died last year.
Oh, me.
With the virus.
Oh, me. With the coronavirus?
And I had it too.
Corona got him?
But he had everything else wrong with him.
Did he get rough with you too?
No, it was good.
I'm talking about you, the coronavirus.
Oh,
did the coronavirus hit you hard?
No. It was a mild case for me. It was mild. But I lost 17 pounds. Lost my appetite.
So where are you living now?
Murray, Kentucky.
Murray, Kentucky.
Been up there 21 years.
Where at it, Murray? Over by the university or Walmart, or
No.
over on the other side where the old there's a salvage yard back over there.
Okay, no. It's like you can take 121. I don't remember if it's.
I know where 94 is. 94 takes you from South Fulton all the way to State Line Road. You turn left at Dukedom, and from Dukedom you can go all the way to Murray.
Yeah, but it's back this other way. 121. I can't remember. If
You're in behind Walmart.
No, I'm further towards Tennessee line.
Towards Tennessee River.
Towards Paris, Tennessee.
Okay.
I'm not. I mean.
Hazel, Kentucky.
No, I don't live in Hazel.
But you're going towards Hazel.
No. No. You can go.
Going towards Paris.
Yeah. Like you're gonna go to Paris Landing.
Yeah, like you're gonna go to Paris Landing. Okay.
You can. I mean, I don't live on that road.
Yeah.
You come off of 121.
Yeah, there's a guy down there that sells a lot of Army stuff. Army trucks, Army Jeeps. You probably seen him on the side of the road with a bunch of Army stuff. Right down there below Murray, on that same road, on that Paris Murray Road. Way before you ever get to that restaurant, it's got that big cow out there in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good restaurant.
Yes, it is. Sirloin.
Sirloin, that's a good restaurant.
It is. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, when you're there at Sirloin, and when you leave Sirloin, you come out and turn to your right, and you go to that red light.
Okay.
And then you're going to turn left, go down that Glendale Road.
Okay.
And then you're going to turn back right onto 121. You go that way several miles, and then you're going to vary off of that onto Carty Road, Cherry Corner Road.
Did you know that you can take about another 15 roads and wind up in Parsons, Tennessee?
Really?
If you know the roads. A lot of Mennonites live back in there.
Yeah. Now there are some.
Yeah, some.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can
Now
take that road all the way to
I want to get back to you. You're Bobby.
No.
No.
I'm Dennis.
Dennis.
Bobby's dead. My father died in.
Was he your dad?
He was my daddy.
I didn't know if he ever had any kids.
Bobby Jackson?
Yes.
He was married to Betty. Betty over there in Kenton, Betty Jordan.
My name's Betty.
Really? Anyway, she had 4 boys. Danny, Douglas, Dennis, which is me, and then David.
See, I didn't know that.
Really?
That must have been after.
How young was Bobby whenever you knew him?
He was young. He was young. I can't remember.
You talking about young, you talking about like 15 years old?
A little older.
19, 20 years old? Did you know him whenever he was called to go to the Army? Did you know him whenever he had a band in Union City called the Rainbow Warriors?
No.
And he also worked down at Reelfoot Lake towards being a hunting guide.
That must have been.
Hunting guide. That was right before he got called into the Army. And see, he wasn't married at that time.
No. I was trying to think what he was doing. I think he was still in Illinois when I was knowing him.
Yeah.
He'd come home sometimes with them.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I never saw him that much. And then, in fact, I never knew he ever married. Or...
You probably knew his daddy a whole lot better than you knew him.
Yes.
Kelmer and Miss Alldale.
Yes, I did.
See what they done after the great 1929 Depression. I think it was in 36 or 37. They realized that they couldn't make a go of it down here with them kids.
Oh yeah.
And that's whenever they wound up moving up to Chicago. And then
when we was living out here, they wasn't even living out here.
Right.
But I mean, they'd come back.
Yeah, they come back here.
Summer and stay a few weeks or so.
Right.
You know. But you're Bobby's son. Oh my goodness.
I'm 60.
Mm-hmm.
Dad was born in 1926.
Whew.
My mother was born in 1933. She was a little younger than him. What year was you born?
48.
48?
Mm-hmm.
So you was just a young whippersnapper whenever he was already a teenager.
Yes.
Whenever he'd come in and out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you'd mow the yard for Kelmer, and he'd pay you in silver dollar bills, silver coins.
I still got them.
Still got them. What do you take for them?
I don't know. Not anything right now.
They're worth more than they're worth more than $1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably one's genuine silver coin right now. Would it be in that pure?
I don't.
Probably worth about $60. And I may be way off. It may be on up around $120.
I don't have a clue.
It's worth more than $1.
I don't have a clue.
How many did you get off of them? A whole bunch?
Yeah, several.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have just one of them to know that it comes from my grandfather.
From your grandfather.
Yeah, I'd be willing to give you top price for it.
Well.
Because I know that it comes from my grandfather.
I understand that. Yeah.
Sentimental value.
Yeah.
You by chance don't have, did y'all have a camera? Was y'all camera fanatics back then? Because most people didn't have cameras back then. They was poor and everything.
We did some, but we didn't take very many pictures. I didn't have any pictures of.
Do you got an album of the school? The school album? No. Sadoniaons school album?
Yes.
But you don't know where it is.
No, wait a minute. Not Sadonia, though.
Where'd you go after Sadonia, Sharon? To the old school before it burnt.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it burnt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long have you been here?
I've been back here since 2014, but now I've lived here off and on since 1967.
Yeah.
Kelmer died in 1969, and whenever they come back,
you not married?
You're
not married?
No. Whenever they come back, they bought this whole thing right here. Yeah. I think in total it was about 47 acres, maybe 50 acres.
Yeah.
And then they dug a big pond back in there.
Mm-hmm.
Kelmer and his dad, Jeff Jackson. Did you know Jeff Jackson? The one that run the old limb store over here? Now you do know that this area was well known of being prejudiced. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the store.
At the store.
Mhm.
That's where it got its name, Lim's Store.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing my parents talk about
And it was Jeff Jackson that probably gave the green light to hanging him. Because at the time he was working for O'Brien County
Mhm.
as being like a dutyator, to where they would go and have trials in different places, because back then the court system was set up differently than it is now.
Yeah.
And he worked for that for probably 3 or 4 years before he gave that up and strictly stayed with the store over there. But now the people around here, but now the people around here,
Wasn't it Connie White and his wife
Yes.
that run the store here when
yes,
well I was living down here.
yeah, Connie White, I think had a hand in that store over there. I think he was renting it out, and also Leon run it. Leon was the last one that run it.
Leon.
Leon was the last one that run it.
Maybe that's who it was, because I know we go over there and get groceries sometimes.
Now, one of Connie White's boys, Ed White,
Yeah.
that wound up going into the Ed Enos house and started milking cows. He was also a carpenter around here, and he wound up being a store merchant down there at the Hop In store for, I guess, 10 years.
Yeah.
You probably remember Dan Simmons.
Oh gosh, yes, I remember him.
Dan Simmons and Sue Simmons.
Alcoholic.
Sue Simmons would fight a chainsaw around it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, this area has really, but it still sticks to its roots as far as what they believe in and what they're against. And see, I've made them mad around here because of my religion. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, that there's no other way for a person to be saved other than through the blood of Christ.
Exactly.
But because I've come in on the latter part pertaining to the apocalypse and the Armageddon of different things happening in the book of Revelations, they've all turned against me around here to the point that I'll put it this way, I got more enemies around here than I got friends.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, and right around the corner right here, if you go back to Highway 89, turn right, and then turn back left, you probably used to remember the Halls, Calvin Hall. Smoked them big old cigars all the time. He was a big old guy like me. You going around that corner where Minley and Charles Mixon lived, I don't know, you probably never did know them. Did you know them?
I knew of them.
Knew of them? Okay.
Arthur Miles.
Huh?
Arthur Miles.
Yeah.
I knew them.
Okay. Somebody has planted a castle over there now. A castle.
Whoa. Who done that?
The Wiccans. A religious group that sits around, holds hands and hums and prays to the owls and peacocks and crystals. They pray to everything but the Creator. Devil worshipers. This area is inundated with paranormal devil worshipers.
Oh, wow.
I never would have thought it myself because I stayed gone for about 25, 30 years. And whenever I come back in 2014, they'd done set up a stronghold out here, and they was very minute. They was very quiet about it. They didn't want hardly nobody to know who they was, because David, my brother, my younger brother, he died at the age of 51, but he used to say in the fall, right around Halloween time, he'd hear a commotion and a bunch of big drums, boom, boom, boom. He said he'd drive over there, and there's likely to be 150 cars over there where they was having a seance, doing something over there.
I got to go.
You must have a plane ticket to catch.
I was supposed to be at Melvin and Mary Hill's house by now.
Okay. Well, you tell Mr.
See,
Mr. Melvin wound up buying our property right here.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because we had no earthly idea whenever Miss Aldell, she wound up having to go to the nursing home. I think it was along about 1983.
Yeah.
And she stayed in the nursing home for almost 13 years.
Gosh.
She had dementia.
Oh, that's terrible.
Hardening of the arteries. She got to the point that she didn't even know herself. She didn't know her children. She didn't know her grandchildren. Her body was living, but her mind was dead.
My mother-in-law was that way.
And what it was, the Weakley County nursing home was lax, we think intentionally, towards not telling us what was going on, because Ronnie Jean, I don't know if you ever knew Ronnie Jean, which would be Bobby's youngest brother. That was the one that Kelmer and Miss Aldell put through college, towards going to school, towards Moody Bob College, towards being a big minister and stuff, in which he done that for a while until he turned on the Lord.
Oh.
Yeah, he become gay. started doing drugs, lost his wife. He was holding down a big church up there in Louisville, Louisville, Kentucky, of about 8,000 people up there, 2,000 kids, a big summer camp and stuff up there. But yeah, he wound up going down to Florida and died of a massive heart attack with his head over a bunch of cocaine, doing cocaine, drugs. Drugs has invaded this country.
Yes,
Drugs has ruined this country.
It really has.
We thought alcohol was bad whenever you and me was growing up.
Right.
Of course, you're a little older than me,
Yeah.
but we thought alcohol was bad.
I could hear about the drugs when I was growing up, but nothing like it is now.
Oh God, it's random.
Oh, it's awful.
It's random. But
You'd be
anyway,
surprised the
but
people you
anyways,
know that-
Ronnie Jean was the executor of Miss Aldell's estate, and he was too busy doing his own little thing up there in Kentucky, and he wasn't on top of things. And the next thing you know, here comes the nursing home. Well, here, y'all owe us. This was like on the 11th or 12th year. Y'all owe us about $37,000 or $40,000, and you better cough it up, or else we're fixing to put a mortgage on the whole property.
Oh my word!
And if it wasn't for J.W., did you know J.W., the alcoholic? That'd be Bobby's oldest. There was J.W., Ruth Helen, Bobby, and then Ronnie.
Okay. No, I didn't know them that well.
Okay, they'd done already growed up and went on about their business. But if it wasn't for J.W., towards having a little bit of money saved up, and they wound up selling this piece of property right here, we'd have lost this whole thing. Now we only own about 1.5 acres right here. That's the original homestead of what they bought whenever they come back from Chicago after the great 1929 Depression.
Yeah.
This is the original homestead. Now, if you'll go over there where Melvin Hill lives, there's a church over there called Primitive Baptist Church. You'll find a whole lot of my people buried over there, and possibly even yours too. Because at that time, that was the area to live in that particular area, and then they merged this way. And you know, Alamo Baptist Church, the church itself, the building, it wasn't there originally.
No, I mean it's been there ever since I've been knowing about it.
Right, but Alamo Baptist Church was actually on up the road where that other little cemetery is today. The little cemetery is still up there.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, it's been good talking to you.
You care if I get you a picture?
What are you gonna do with it? I don't want it put out nowhere.
I'm gonna put it on YouTube.
No.
Then I won't take your picture.
Oh, don't.
But I do appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, we're good.
But I'll keep you private.
Okay, good.
A lot of people rather not be on social media,
No.
and I don't blame you. The way people are today,
Yes.
people's crazy nowadays.
They are.
They'll do anything. I mean, I still have them drive by here and cuss at me and accuse me of this and accuse me of that. And you know, whenever you're living beside a bunch of devil worshipers, what do you expect? But I guarantee you this: if they'd have tried to move in back whenever you was a child growing up, they'd have run them plumb out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They'd have run them plumb out.